Good evening, brothers, sisters, and gender norm resistors. It is that time of the week again for Pirates the Geek Vortex. With me, your host, Olav, and the rest of the Pirates crew. So let's go ahead and see who all's here. Hello, everybody. Oh, God damn it. I hate when that happens.
What's wrong?
Oh, my for some reason it didn't unmute the voice chat in OBS when I told it to. But everything's good now. Thankfully, I have it all so that my headphones are monitoring everything that's coming through OBS. So if something isn't playing through OBS and being streamed out, I know it rather than being sitting here talking to people and being like, "Oh no, everybody, no, nobody can hear us." Okay.
I've done that a few times.
Yeah, I've done that a few times myself, and it's that's why I started just going through and monitoring everything and being like, "Nope, we're just." I hear exactly what OBS is sending out. All right, so let me open up the studio mode here and start getting make sure everybody's in the right place. All right, looks like we are good. Here right now, so we'll just leave him as an empty portrait, and there we go. All right, so how's everybody's week been?
It's been a week. Although today, I can officially say I am the proud owner of an LLC now.
Congratulations. They can be hellish. I'm part owner myself. And a different one.
Anything particular that you want to share, or is this a big secret still?
No, this is just me slowly working towards actually having an LLC rather than just doing everything independently myself.
Makes sense.
Also because there's a dude who I was working for last year getting paid under the table, and he was trying to screw me over, so I quit, and he's recently got back in contact with me. And I made it very clear that if I'm going to be doing business with him this time, I'm doing it through the LLC, so it's legal and official. Yeah. And I can do a whole contract and everything.
That makes sense.
1 second. Nightkind sound is not working. Let's see what we can do there.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
No, still can't.
Yeah, it's definitely on her end.
I love we can actually, we have seen so many of those commercials, we can see can you hear me now? No. Fuck.
I'm sorry, interpretive dance isn't on my resume tonight.
Damn it, it's supposed to be on yours.
All of us decided to take center stage in the dark. Yeah, Nightkind may need to disconnect, reconnect.
Yeah, that's
Wait
everybody
a minute.
around.
Oh no, we have Rasclin on center stage now.
No, you have Olive on center stage now.
No, you're center. You are very much center.
Give it a minute.
Yep, there she is.
Okay. I can't really see her because it's a black dog and a black background with very little light.
Just look for the black that is against the astounding pale.
I mean, from what I can see, that is most of that is just most of what's there.
I mean, I can brighten this entire screen, but it's going to involve me taking off my shirt.
No, that's okay.
We did that once.
We don't want to blind everybody.
The beacons were lit. Gondor called for aid.
Unfortunately, it got none because everyone who looked at the beacon.
Blind. Yes.
Okay, Nykind is back, I think. We still can't hear anything.
All right, yeah, try disconnect, reconnect. Wait, I could hear you just for a second there. Think.
You could?
It could be my ears fooling me also.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything here.
All right, Nykind, I'm going to send you another link. Go ahead and disconnect if you can hear me.
Always so much fun, right?
Right. I felt so much less bad about my streams lately.
Okay.
Oh, no, I just used to always get so perturbed that yours seemingly were so polished and refined and mine were crap.
See, there's a little bit of a secret to it.
Patience?
Yes.
Actually learning what you're doing?
Yeah. Like months and months, if not years, of trying different shit and saying, no, this won't work.
Okay.
One of these times I'll
Yes.
have to go.
We hear you.
Oh my
We hear
God.
you.
I
Yeah.
heard her.
We hear you said okay, and we heard that.
Okay. Yay.
Good. I thought you'd have to actually do a complete disconnect, reconnect. Apparently, I was wrong.
Well, I went through anyway. I went through all the sound settings, and
There we go.
there.
But let's take a moment to appreciate the member that looks best right now. The empty portrait of gamers.
Damn it, I have a modeling shoot next month. That doesn't help my odds.
Well, I mean, that's like a professional shot of the bridge of the Orville. So, I mean, it should look the best.
True.
I don't know, Rask. We get some key lights, some ring lights on you. We'll only blind half of the people there.
I'll just wear a unbuttoned shirt, and then the blindness factor will be taken down a little bit.
Okay. So today's topic was one that actually came up because I was talking to a friend from Europe a few days ago. And they kept they were like, okay, I finally have to ask, what the hell is going on with healthcare and stuff and health in general in the US? Because, you hear all this stuff, but it sounds it sounds like, it doesn't sound real. And it's like, okay. And over the conversation, I realized that health is general health in the U.S. seems to be kind of broken up, at least in my experience, broken up into a few different categories. So, like, health in general seems to be more of a commodity that we kind of trade here and there. Like, when you're young, in your 20s and 30s, you're, oh, well, I need to impress my employer in order to keep my job and stuff like that. So you do stupid stuff that's going to slowly breaks down your body. It's like you're going to have trouble when you hit 40 and 50.
Like ignoring a weight limit that you should have been following your entire life?
Yeah, exactly.
I have had a weird inverted experience for most people. I would get sick constantly when I was younger. Now, far, far less. Not saying it doesn't happen. I had a bout with RSV a few weeks ago, but other than that...
I thought it was weird. I found myself explaining the difference of measles and chickenpox to somebody today.
Okay.
Wow.
It was my brother's gaming group. They're like, aren't measles and chickenpox the same thing? And to his credit, he was like, no, they're not. But then he started trying to describe like what chickenpox was. And I just
Related
had
to
to
cowpox, but
No, I had to lean into the door. I was like, look, if you're going to describe chickenpox as the red bumps and you don't feel anything and all of this, it's like you have to remember that chickenpox, the most closely related disease to it, would be herpes. And I was like, what? No, that's not right. I was like, yes, it is. Chickenpox is herpes simplex 2. So the most closely related is herpes simplex 1.
So many people do not understand that. They just don't. And whether they just want to remain uneducated or, they just don't want to do the research or anything like that. And don't you say that. That's wrong. So a lot of people just, they don't know.
Well, it's because they don't want to admit that if we're going with the whole, if you've ever had chicken pox, you've had herpes, well then that's like what, 90% of the population?
They don't care. They don't want to know.
also, did Caden just freeze up video-wise for anyone else?
Nope, it's frozen for me too.
Yeah.
Okay. I look at the way we view health or even science in general in the U.S. I compare it to something that came up during the initial invasion of Afghanistan. When we were dropping care packages, many people in the Taliban were able to convince people not to go get them because, quote unquote, the US has poisoned them with a special toxin that will send you directly to hell. And people bought that shit. And people laughed for a bit over here when they heard it, and now you look at all the really weird shit people believe, like 5G causes COVID, and it's like, okay, nope, we're morons. We're as dumb as anyone else.
COVID. 5G causes autism.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The vaccines cause COVID. Which is technically correct.
Suddenly reminded of the webcomic Sam and Fuzzy, where one of the characters says, oh, you don't have to worry. It's scientifically proven that if you're bitten by a vampire, you don't become a vampire. That's good. You become a werewolf. What?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
When I was a exercise physiologist, and of course my job was to help people get better through exercise, through movement, and they wouldn't do their exercises, but they would come back to me saying, well, this isn't working. Did you do your exercises? Well, no. Okay, what did you do? Sat in the hot tub all day. Okay, you have titanium in your back. When you sit in the hot tub all day, it raises the temperature of your titanium, and it hurts
feels so
forever.
good.
So that rolls along with people that don't want to be educated and blame somebody else for their health care. And that's what's wrong with healthcare today is, well, I didn't do it, so it must be the doctor's fault, etc.
Yeah.
No, my gripe with the titanium and exercise is they keep telling me, well, you need to do a light cardio routine. All right, cool. Suggest me some exercises. Light cardio.
I would
Like what? Light cardio.
I would have told you jumping jacks and a 1 mile walk.
I can't do jumping jacks.
Titanium? Are you kidding me?
Point.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the 1 mile walk. Would it be possible to get you a stationary bike? Would have been my next thing.
Okay, so here's the fun part.
Hmm.
Every time they say light cardio or to do core exercises, they also tell you no impact.
Okay,
Stationary
so
bikes,
walking,
running, jumping jacks, push-ups, all fall under impact.
So you need a stationary cardio item that is not a treadmill.
They suggest swimming.
That makes sense, but yeah.
You're going to carry those little foam things when you're in the pool,
No.
like the old ladies do, so you can just stand there with your little foam weights.
Actually, I don't know how or when I learned how to swim, but I'm pretty good at it. The problem being that I have an affinity for water, so I always just want to put myself on the bottom of the pool and just be like, this is where I live now.
I used to exercise daily during high school, and I cooled off a bit in college because, of course, it did. But it wasn't too effective. I was probably over-exercising, and my muscles had no time to heal. Eventually, I got into weight training. I went to a gym because it was included with my tuition. Nowadays, I'm back in the gym, thankfully, and I've been regular for a while, but it took me going full-on vegan to really get into it and have the energy now. Whereas I used to just be able to go on sheer discipline. It's like, no, I had to do a complete change-up of the whole body.
When I was working out, I was actually training for the Miss Fitness competition. And I mean, I was working out hardcore. I was on a macrobiotic diet, etc. And the doctors are saying, well, you're going to miss your period. Well, no. And they couldn't figure out why. And that is what healthcare is about. You take care of your body, you take care of your diet, you watch what you put, you just basically watch what you put in your face and work out. And then that way the doctors are still saying, well, you can't be doing this, you can't, etc. That's because the doctors and the insurance companies need you to stay sick so they can take care of you. And then that's where this income rolls around. So, being also, I was medical biller. Oh, geez, that was fun and exciting. And yeah, I can rage on about that.
I have another experience to jump in here with. When I was in my late teens, I started coming down with what I would later find out was Meniere's disease. The problem was when I went to the doctor would say, oh, it's all in your head. The joke writes itself at this point. Well, literally I agree with you. Figuratively, we have an issue. And it took me years to find a doctor. I was in my mid-30s by the time I did, who would diagnose and acknowledge my disease, which was about 9 years ago. Got treatment, got an MRI, they found the cause of my Meniere's. The last time I even had a severe spell was a result of a blood clot, and that's a whole different story.
Nobody found out I had asthma until, because, the doctors really didn't know. They didn't know how to treat it, blah, blah. And I was in a track competition and was just running like a son of a bitch and fell down across the finish line. No oxygen, nobody knew, just ta-da, fell down. So the incubator took me to the doctor, and they really couldn't figure it out for a while. And I guess, they read all the books, and they finally said, well, okay, it's asthma. How do we treat it? And the doctors really, well, here, take this pill, take that pill. Here's an inhaler. And it was absolutely horrible. So at that time, the doctors really didn't know how to truly treat it. It was just across the board, reading through their books and possibly talking to the pharmacist to see what they can do to help the doctor. Because they go hand in hand, the pharmacist and the doctor. They're like in bed together.
That was one of the things that a lot of people outside the U.S. don't realize is it's like, oh yeah, the especially the drug companies. It's like, if you look at something like, okay, let's say, okay, you've been carrying a lot more weight than you should at various different jobs. So, you hit your 30, you hit 35, 40, all of a sudden you have constant back pain. It's like, what are we supposed to do with it? It's like, well, you could go to a doctor, get it checked out, possibly get something. It's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, several doctor's visits, time off work, and all this stuff. Or you can buy a $5 bottle of ibuprofen and be good, at least feel good. And
well, that's just helping with symptoms. That's not getting down to the root.
Yeah. That's what we always see is, you see like the Advil commercials where it's like, oh, hey, this delivery driver has back pain. And, he takes 2 Advil in the morning and he's good until the end of his shift. We're going to switch it out for Tylenol. And he's taking pill after pill after pill after pill after pill. It's like, yeah, but you're doing nothing to actually help his back.
Right. No, I get it. My GP was kind of just the opposite. I forget what the fuck I couldn't sleep. I had really bad insomnia. And in fact, the pill that she did give me literally made me want to jump out a window of my 6-story building. But anyway, that's besides the point. So she couldn't figure out why I couldn't sleep, etc. I shit you negative. She told me to go get herbs. She couldn't figure it out. So she's like, go get herbs. Well, the fuck am I paying you for, lady?
Yeah.
So
didn't I tell you guys when I asked to get tested for ADHD and bipolar? Have I never told you that story?
that you can or that you have been?
That I tried to get tested.
Okay.
There's an emphasis there. I asked them specifically, I said, look, I have a family history of ADHD and bipolar, and I would like to get tested to make sure that, if I need to get medicated or anything, that I'm on it. So they scheduled me an appointment, and I thought it was going to be with a therapist or, a psychologist. They sent me to a behavioral therapist who asked me, hey, what's your life like? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have family? Where are you living? How's your job? And I told her, at the moment I'm making $2,400 a month. I'm in a polyamorous relationship. I have a girlfriend, have a boyfriend, living with my parents. She's like, well, you can't be depressed. You have too good of a life.
See? They just... they don't know.
Their answer was, you can't be depressed. What the hell?
I can't be depressed because I have too good of a job. I was making too much money to be depressed.
Yeah, that's... But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like people outside especially people outside of the United States, it's like they don't really understand that it's like, oh no, we really just, for the most part, health is just kind of like, yeah, whatever. It's something that we expect to have, we expect to lose out on it at some point in our life. It's like that's just generally expected. And it's like, it's goddamn awful.
Oh, hi Carlos, good to see you in chat.
Like for me, it's like I've seen it. My dad had messed up his back through years of really, really bad behavior, of a lot of manual labor and stuff like that, to the point where I think it was when he was 60 or somewhere in his 60s, they decided, okay, well, you have pretty severe back pain. You can't really stand for that long. Let's see what's going on. And basically it turned out that, oh, okay, so yeah, 2 of the discs in your spine have completely crumbled away. They are no longer there.
Bone on bone, damn.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's been that way probably, and it was probably that way for about 5 years. They're like, we're amazed you can even stand at all.
Fun fact, I can't.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
The body adapts, but damn, should it honestly have to?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
speaking of which, I did find my most recent x-rays. I should go look into those.
Yeah, didn't your dad take any x-rays or have any x-rays taken?
No. It was just to the point where it was one of those, he was kind of that generation where it was like, okay, you expect to, you just expect to have back pain once you hit 50 or 60. That's just normal.
I used to work for a chiropractor, and everybody thinks that chiropractic adjustments are voodoo and witchcraft, and it never works until somebody realizes that the nervous system it just goes, obviously it goes throughout your body, night kind, but holy fuck, they don't realize that when it gets into, I'm just going to go layman's terms, a squished bone, and that disc is pressing on a nerve that, well, that's why your hand hurts, and that's why you're, well, bone on bone, but that's pretty bad. But a lot of people, they don't realize that a chiropractic adjustment can help so much. But then this is why a lot of insurance companies don't want to pay, is because they think that chiropractic adjustment is crystal healing. And so a lot of people just don't go into that. And the doctors, when they say, well, where does it hurt? Well, it hurts here. Well, all right, why? So the doctors, they really don't prescribe chiropractic because, again, that might help them heal faster. And back to the doctors and the pharmacist are in bed together. So it's just, this whole entire healthcare system is just really screwed. And I think all of us in America think so. I think. I could be I could be wrong. Could be.
I think most people would agree that yeah, it's not good.
I mean, I've watched my entire family get screwed over by the American healthcare system. The first time I applied for disability, they sent me to a chiropractor for my assessment. I can't go to a chiropractor because of the rods in my spine, but that's who's going to assess whether or not I'm disabled. Makes perfect fucking sense.
I have a friend who, she is trying to get an MRI to avoid other treatments, which is kind of amazing. It's like the insurance company doesn't want to pay for the MRI, but they don't seem to understand that, hey, if you do that, you might be able to avoid several other surgeries, which might not be necessary. That's where we've gotten, that penny pinching so hard by health corporations that it's become pound foolish. It's not even about the bottom line at that point.
We all know what we eventually have to breach if we're talking about health.
Do we just want to say it then?
Yeah, what do we think of Luigi?
I will say I will say that I agree with Bill Burr.
I like that. Yes.
Bill who?
Bill Burr.
He's a comedian. Yeah.
Okay, one person can say that again. Just one.
Bill Burr. Bilburr.
I think she requires some clarification as to what you agree to.
I'm just pretty. Hey, I've been
Subtext,
spinning
guys,
away.
subtext.
Literally, I've had this. My medication is literally just I can't focus, and I'm off balance all the time. I get super dizzy. So that's what I'm going to blame it on. And that's why I'm in bed, because I can't walk anywhere without losing my balance. So
That's fair.
And
Meanwhile,
I'm just going to.
I swear, Rasclin keeps getting darker and darker.
Well, it's not from exposure to the sun, I'll tell you that. I know, you meant my camera, but I was just going to say, I have to admit, I didn't even know Bill Burr existed until he was on The Mandalorian, so.
I had seen some stuff from him before that, but yeah, that was kind of where a lot of people, where a lot of people got their first exposure to him, was on from The Mandalorian.
no wonder I don't know who this person is, because you guys watch The Mandalorian.
No, I'm just terminally online.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's kind of gotten a lot of quite a bit of a following from his I don't give a fuck attitude. Like,
Yeah.
I remember at one point, him and his wife were at I think it was was it a UFC fight? And it was one of the ones that Trump came in and was like, "Oh, hey, everybody loves me, and his wife just was just kind of like, and I think flipped Trump the bird, and people are asking, "Well, what do you think?" He's like, "What do you expect me to say? You think that I'm gonna It's like, hey, that's her. It's her choice. I didn't tell her to do it. I'm not pissed that she did it, but it's like she's expressing her belief."
What do you think of that? It's her body, her choice.
But yeah, he has repeatedly said on many shows that he's been on and stuff like that no, free Luigi, he's right. He's in the right. Because
I mean, it all comes down to sometimes you just need to shoot a motherfucker.
Sometimes. I don't like the way he did it.
Well, here's the thing. He may not have even done it.
Well, this is true. I'm sorry. Let me recant that statement. So I don't like what happened, but the statement is very, and like I said in a video, people are literally dying to get into they're literally dying to say what he said, to say what this person had to say. And, the amount of people that are actually standing up for the message is insane. And United Healthcare is actually, not they're going into bankruptcy, but they're rethinking how they do their billing, and they're making a lot of changes. And so obviously this person who shot, what's his name? Chris Bryan, whatever.
Faceless CEO number 71742.
Right. Whose job was filled like that. Yeah, the message is fantastic, and the insurance company is really making changes. And so that's where I think that the message is really getting across, is now they are looking at the way they do their billing and the amount of people that they are looking at thinking, well, this was not a pre-existing condition, or we should pay for this pre-existing condition because our patient is being billed for $5,000 a month for insurance. And people are like, yeah, that's bullshit. That should not be happening.
Yeah, and it's not even, to that point, it's not even so much, is it a pre-existing condition? It's, well, is it necessary? Like the doctors, like in our example here with somebody who has a bad back that needs x-rays, doctor orders x-rays, the insurance company is able to question it and be like, well, were the x-rays really necessary?
I think then that's way then they can turn that into a pre-existing condition, because John Q. Public walks into his doctor, I have an owie, and the doctor said, well, good luck on your good luck with your owie, and the insurance company won't pay for it. So, pink, on the sidewalk. That's kind of it's
a little bit different. What I'm talking about is a little bit different. It's a doctor says, yes, you may have a very serious problem with your back. We need to do an x-ray. The doctor says, yes, we need to do an x-ray to see if there's a problem. The insurance company gets to say, wait. Was the x-ray really necessary? No, we don't think so. The doctor said it was necessary, but we don't think so, so we're not going to cover it.
It's worse than you think, because there was apparently a report came out about a couple, veteran and his wife, both have chronic medical issues. They're in their 70s. And they're suddenly having claims from 6 years ago that were paid out by their insurance company billed to them again. That's right, medical companies are now retroactively canceling very, very old payments. And they're already going into collections, sometimes with barely any notice before you even know that you have the debt.
Yeah.
And you can guess what I'm blaming this kind of shit on recently.
I'm sorry, I'm the type of asshole.
Medical issues. You can't. They don't look at that. They don't look at medical issues. So even if, somebody help me. Not your tax credit. Anyway, I've been really having problems with thinking. Like, I go into the kitchen and I have no fucking idea why I went into the kitchen. Your credit score. So when you go to, buy a truck and they look at your credit score, they don't look at your medical issues. They don't look at your medical
your medical records.
History.
Yeah.
Medical history is one of the biggest jokes in the fucking industry. Because it don't matter for shit. But like I said, I'm the type of asshole. I heard the CEO got shot. And one of the first thoughts in my mind was just, I'm sorry, the bullet in your spine was a pre-existing medical condition. Nothing we can do.
I like the fact that everybody who's like, oh yeah, this dude got shot. Well, he had a wife and he had kids and he had a job. Okay, so the person who cashed his check, he doesn't have a family. He doesn't have a girlfriend. I mean, he still has shit going on for him that this Brian Thompson, whatever, he didn't have the same shit, but everybody involved has a life going for them. And
yeah, no, you're right. What pissed me off was the response to it. Was like, again, we talked about this in the politics episode. We had the two massive polarizing responses. But yeah, it's a dude, he has a wife, he has kids, he's a human being. It sucks that another human being was murdered. But then the fucking reaction to it from Elon and everyone else was just, oh, this is such a terrible tragedy. A CEO has died, and without us, America's going to die. I'm like, okay, so you don't even care about the human. Like, that's not a human life to you. That's just another thing. CEOs are just other assets that you're gonna fucking whine and bitch about because the working class can take it from you.
I think that they were trying to humanize him even more. And it put that golden halo on his head when, the company that he was working for, they are responsible for killing a lot of people. And there's a whole entire other backstory about that.
I mean, it's the fact that they took a human who died, and then they don't mention his name, they don't mention his wife or kids, they mentioned he's a CEO, and then tie it to, well, he's dead. But if all the CEOs were to get shot, well, you'd be fucked because the economy would crash. This is not a good way to make us like you. Yeah. This is why we fucking hate you in the first place.
I think it's just another reason why Luigi is asking to be freed is because you got all of these prepubescent girls that are like, oh my god, he's my boyfriend, I'm gonna marry him, he's the daddy of my kids. Look at it for what it is, okay? And again, a lot of people aren't doing that because he's hot AF, and maybe the other side is people over profit. And there are a lot of people that say that. A lot of people that say that. And I think maybe a lot more should be realizing that. But everybody needs to go to the doctor. All right, well, let's go to the doctor.
Everybody needs to be able to go to the doctor without somebody who isn't involved in the medical, who has no medical degree whatsoever, saying, no, we're not going to cover this because that wasn't really necessary. That's my point with insurance companies. And what the CEO was responsible for was he was the one that would say, oh, well, this doctor gave you an x-ray, but the doctor says that it was necessary, but we don't think it was necessary. Therefore, we're not going to cover it. You have to pay the full price for that x-ray.
That's exactly what was happening when I was a medical biller, is that I had to send, okay, here's your ICD-9 code, and let's mail it off to the insurance company. And this was Medicaid and Medicare. And of course, they need their money too. So they would send a letter back, well, I'm sorry that we're not going to accept this modality, this care. And okay, well, why not? Then I had to add a modifier to make that medical, help me, you guys, that medical adjustment. And then it would have, you're right, Olaf, that the Medicare or the insurance company would have to look at it differently. And yeah, they're not in the medical.
Yeah, they don't hire, anybody with a medical degree. They hire people with a business degree. Mm-hmm. And the business degree says, well, if you cannot have to pay it, that means that your business is going to make a better profit at the end of the year. So they say, well, we don't think that it was necessary. We don't, really what they're saying is we don't want to pay it.
Yeah, because maybe there's math involved and they don't want to math.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Let's discuss something real quick. Can we change our language as just a people? Can we just realize that a company doesn't lose profits if people don't buy things? You can't lose what you never fucking had.
True.
Like, it's that language I hate. Is like, oh, Netflix saying, oh, people are sharing passwords, so we're losing profit because people aren't subscribing. You're not losing shit. Those people didn't have an account in the first place.
They're losing potential profit.
Exactly, but I don't care about potential.
So if the doctors went to school, read their books, studied their skeletons, they've already made, their $100,000 a year, right? They're not losing anything but the greed. Mm-hmm. And the greed is there. And there's something else that I was thinking about, but I lost that when I walked into the front room.
And like the insurance companies are going to try to...
What's that?
So the insurance company would try to outlogic me with that, with like, oh, well, you're paying your premiums, but your premiums are only a few $100s, whereas we're paying thousands of dollars for you to get these tests. I'm still paying you to do it, dipshit, as are millions of other people. The net loss is negligible. Fuck you.
That's why it's insurance. Why everyone pays in. And now the insurance companies are supposed to pay out. Of course.
And they don't even notice. They don't even that John Q. Public quit their insurance. They don't notice.
I remember.
But
Go ahead.
Oh, I think where I got that analogy from is that not noticing is when you put fuel in your car and you use your credit card, and all of a sudden it's 10 cents more if you use your credit card. Why? Why? Nobody's going to notice that it isn't there. Is it more difficult to do the math with 10 cents more than what?
Well, it costs more to use your credit card in some businesses because the business actually has to pay a fee to the credit card company.
But when you're a squazillionaire, who's going to fucking notice?
Doesn't matter. It's hey, they still want to make their money. They still want their money.
Okay.
Never mind that in this day and age, money is fucking laughable because all it is digital data. It doesn't exist.
So
You're
what am
fighting
I
over
gonna do
something
with
I
all the
can
cash
literally
I
go
have in
into
my-
a program and change with absolutely not blinking an eye. I can change that 9 in your 9 million bank to a 0, and it's not going to fucking matter. Because show me where it exists.
Yeah, one of my friends said that money, that cash is going by the wayside, that it is all going to go digital. And that's why the Bitcoin, which I don't really understand, but if cash isn't going to be worth anything, then what do we do with it? Why do we have so much of it in the bank? Do we all buy Bitcoin and then it crashes? Then there goes all of your money. There goes all of your hard cash, all your foldable money that you're supposed to give to the insurance company.
Monetary system in itself is complete bullshit, in my opinion. Okay? And this is my version of the allegedly card. But monetary systems are bullshit because nothing has a set value. It only has the value that we assign it. Paper money is the same fucking way as digital. Somebody handed somebody a coin or a slip of paper and was like, hey, this is worth 5 of that one thing over there. And somebody accepted it. But going digital, we're going even worse than that because now we don't even have a physical construct to show for it. And Bitcoin's bullshit because Bitcoin is actively destroying our planet for something that nobody understands. And then all people do is just, hey, pay me more, pay me more, pay me more. I swear to God, you're going to be millionaires. Oh, I have enough money. I'm going to fuck off to the Bahamas. You get nothing.
I had a boyfriend that he was like, okay, I got to go put in my Bitcoin money. So and I don't know. Why would you give your money to the ether and never see it again? Here.
I mean, that's all credit and debit is to me.
There was that commercial that kept airing for a bit where it was just a woman saying, Bitcoin, the best money we've ever had. Now there's a card for it. And I'm like, oh, gods. The hype train is here and I want to strangle it.
Wait,
yes.
Now there's
Bitcoin. What were you saying?
I was gonna say now there's the Bitcoin now there's a card for it. It's like it's called a credit card. That's
Yeah, I was about to say the Bitcoin. Now there's a card for it for the currency that was supposed to replace cards.
yeah.
You know,
So can
guys,
you
for
go
as
to your
much as we
doctor
hate
and say-
physical money,
Can you go to your doctor and pay your doctor in Bitcoin and then Bitcoin crashes and then they revert to billing you for cash? Is that how it goes?
Probably.
Well, again, I never understood this Bitcoin shit. So
It is shit. It is
Yeah.
very shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's crap.
and then we get into NFTs.
what?
No,
Something
we
else I
don't.
didn't
'Cause
understand.
NFT is just.
I'll
even the
pay my
people
insurance.
Even the people who make NFTs don't know what the fuck NFTs are.
Well,
I'll
here,
pay my insurance in an NFT of my unwashed asshole.
yeah.
Which
Well,
they
then
now somehow simultaneously own, but don't.
Yeah, you own the rights to a digital image, but you don't actually own the digital image. You don't own the copyright for it. You just own the hypothetical rights to the digital image. It's like I said, even the people who fucking make NFTs and deal with NFTs have no fucking clue what an NFT is.
I'm
Some
just
video
going to
game
call-
companies are trying to make that now.
I will quote Al Kurtz. All an NFT is, you sell an idiot nothing and give them a receipt.
We should update our slang. It's no longer selling religion to Satan or selling an Eskimo snow cone. It's selling God an NFT.
Oh God. Well, if you put your NFT that doesn't have a copyright, but everybody's like Eminem, he got his NFT and he claimed it as his. Well, once you put it out into the ether, everybody has contact with it. Well, I'm just going to take a screenshot of that and put it as my avatar on my Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's
It's
the
happened.
point?
Oh yeah,
I don't-
yeah. But they still own the digital rights to the NFT. That's the problem. That's the thing. That's where I say even the people who make it and do stuff with NFTs don't fucking understand it, because it's like it's not a copyright for the picture. It's not saying that nobody else can own that picture. It's that you have the. I guess it would be kind of like saying, okay, anybody can make a reprint of the Mona Lisa. Anybody can take a picture of the Mona Lisa, but only one person can actually own the Mona Lisa. That's essentially what NFT. That's essentially what the whole NFT thing is. Is technically you own that that original picture. People can make copies of it. There's nothing stopping them at all.
It's like having a weird, limp-wristed distribution rights.
Without actually being able to sue anybody who uses
Yeah.
the picture. That's the absurd part. It's like you have no actual rights to prevent anybody from using the picture. You just own the theoretical original, and it's like it's stupid as hell.
Like I said, we have video game companies trying to make their video games NFTs now.
I was so disappointed when Squeenix went that way. I think they are backing off, but
Well, that's because Square Enix knows it's game-based, and they know if they try that bullshit, we will, in fact, riot.
see, they learned something that Konami couldn't.
I mean, we all said it plain as day. If you're going to say that we're buying the rights to, or the privilege to a game, but you don't own the game and I don't own the game, well, then nobody owns the game, which means if I pirate the fuck out of this, it's not illegal.
It's right there in the TOS. You may not sell it, you may not download it, you may not do this, that, or the other. Watch me. Watch. What are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's the thing. The TOS only covers their intellectual rights. But they're saying now, if you purchase the game, you're purchasing the privilege to those intellectual rights. But you don't own the rights and they don't own the rights. Well, if nobody owns the intellectual rights, how's it a crime if those intellectual rights are then redistributed?
Then it's mine. I own it. I claimed it. I licked it. It's mine.
I figured this would be a topic that would spawn off into all kinds of insanity.
Wait, can we address the other specter in the room?
The other?
The
Is it
number
in the room with us?
it's in the country with
Bernie
us. So
Sanders here?
okay, why is so much of the nation so ignorant, stupid, whatever we'll call it, that will say, I'm fine with getting rid of Obamacare, but keep the ACA? How? How are people this stupid? I
One
want to
word.
know. I need to know.
One word. America.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. It's,
Okay, let me put something in perspective because I don't think people really have grasped it yet. Look at we are going to come back to this because we keep complaining about it. But look at our current election. Look at what we decided to do as a nation. And I'm using we facetiously. Don't fucking get on me about it. Supposedly, as a country, we have decided that if we put billionaires into high-level positions and let them run our country, not as a country, but as a business, surely those billions that they have owned will get kickbacks. They'll give us billions because they're such great people. Without taking into account the basic logical fallacy that you don't get to become a billionaire by giving away any of your money.
yeah.
Well, there was one certain person that was giving away money which is super illegal when he wrote checks, $1 million checks to people that definitely voted. And that is duper against the law. So this person, he was buying people. And he wasn't necessarily giving it away, but yeah, you have to vote for this person and here's a bunch of money.
What is that dude? Yeah, Dan Price. He's like my favorite CEO right now just because he's logical.
Oh, it took me a second to remember him. Yes. Beard, longish hair.
Yes. And yeah, there is probably issues with him too. But just like everything I've seen of him so far, he's a pretty cool guy. For those of you who don't know, during the pandemic, Dan Price looked at his company and realized, hey, my workers are suffering. You know, they're not getting a living salary, they're not getting anything, and I'm sitting here and I'm making over millions of dollars a year. How about I'm going to completely cut my salary and give every person in my company $75,000 salaries until the pandemic is over?
Because it's much easier to hoard and let people die than it is to put your money out there and let people live.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I like Dan. Because he's still, to this day, has taken that pay cut, and he's like, I don't need it. I have more money than God right now. I am never going to spend all this money that I've made. And my employees are happier. I'm getting new employees because they're like, hey, shit, we can live in this company.
I wish I knew what the difference was in what brought about the alternative mindset. I mean, you look at someone like Musk or Trump, and these people have managed to sell a myth that they are self-made men. And it's like, no. You had an inheritance and you're lucked out in some cases with it, or despite your own efforts. I mean,
Bill.
Bezos, Gates, and as much as I hate to admit it, Zuckerberg, they're canny investors. Romney, I hate to admit this. I have to admit, I don't hate Romney. I just hate how sheltered he is, but he knows how finance works. If I was going to have a money guy run the country, I'd rather it be one of these people that's seen as a rhino right now.
Bill Gates sold the fallacy that he's an inventor and a scientist.
He's not, but he's a good investor.
He's also a thief.
Yes. So was gods. Apple presentation guy who's dead now.
Steve Jobs?
Thank you. I was never going to remember that.
I mean, Jobs is a little less, because like that's the thing. It was Jobs, Wozniak, and Gates all working together in the same field, and then halfway through, before the development was complete, Gates stole the program, ran with it, made it Windows. And then Jobs stuck around, waited till it was done, stole it, and then was like, hey, here's Apple. And Wozniak's back here going, y'all fuckers.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the other person that is in the White House. He has this little part. He just basically went in and bought everything. And I mean, do I say that he stole the company? Stole a lot of companies to make it his own, and everybody thinks that, oh my gosh, he invented Tesla, he invented Twitter, which I will never call it X. And
Nikolai is running, or Nikola is just like, not just rolling over in his grave right now, he's digging his way to hell.
Tesla?
Yeah.
Yes,
Every invention Tesla had in his life, stolen by Edison. He dies, he's like, haha, I can rest him. What the fuck do you mean they're using my name?
Well, the big orange copper color con man called it Tesla.
The copper condom?
Wait, did you do that during the we'll call it the paid advertisement?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Tesla.
Can't say I'm surprised.
You know, I've
don't
heard
think you read.
about this. I haven't seen it. Is my life better for not having seen that?
Yes.
Yes.
I saw photos of it, just read the article and said, well, that happened.
And what Jimmy, he called it Neutron? Instead of Newton, he called it Neutron?
Because he has Jimmy Neutron on the brain?
Would it surprise you?
No.
We can show this idiot idiocracy and he'll come away with some weird takeaway and actually start pouring Powerade all over the White lawn.
Guys, they said that we're living in the future that Demolition Man promised and called Demolition Man liberal propaganda. They said that the future that was presented in Demolition Man is the future that liberals wanted.
Why is... And not just here. I'm just like, there's a lot of people in this world that are referencing current society to Demolition Man.
Or Idiocracy, or what are some other old dystopian films that we see as prophetic now?
Oh shit, there was one other one aside from Demolition Man that I was saying is... I can't remember it right offhand though.
Describe it.
No, that's what I'm saying, is I'm drawing a blank. I know I've been comparing it.
You know, when I used to talk about shows with realistic futures, I would have been thinking something like the anime Pat Labor, where they say, what would humanity actually do with giant robots? Well, the answer is they use them in construction. A guy hijacks his construction robot, climbs a skyscraper in Tokyo, gets on his mech's PA system, and starts being a giant robot screaming out to all of Japan about his failed marriage and his mortgage. And I thought, wow, that sounds like the most realistic thing ever. It's now reality looked at that and said, hold my chai.
Yeah, it turns out you give a man a giant robot, he'll try to fuck it.
That's just the movie that I was watching this afternoon, and it's called not construction, not anyway, it's in that where the robot is fucking this girl and she has a baby. Creation is the name of the movie.
Oh.
So how? I don't know. So, that goes back to, bots being human.
My brain is a horrible place.
Well, yeah.
She got knocked up. She got knocked up by a robot. Does pro-life still consider that a human life?
I don't want to know. I don't.
Conception starts at first calculation.
Yeah, I'd have to finish that movie, but I also have to get my butt out of this bed and just try and live a life, but that's just me and another story, so.
This is one of those streams I feel like we should all have been drinking or some shit.
I got my water.
I got 3 bottles of whiskey next to me.
Half of the people here don't drink, so this is going to get interesting.
All right, I need to take a real quick break, and then we'll move into the second part of the health question. So I'll be right back.
I need to use
Is
the
this
rest
the
of my
endless screaming and hellfire part?
Here, phone. You want to be on TV? Okay. Stop growling at me, asshole. He always growls at me. I don't know. I guess I'm not a good mom dog. Just shoot me now. Please. Oh my god, just shoot me now.
I don't know if my aim's that good.
Yeah, the past 2 days have just been... And I have to blame it on my meds because... meds. Just insane. Just absolutely insane. And that reverts to...
Medication makes you someone that you're not. Yeah, it makes me someone that can actually function.
Oh, yeah. Just insane. But at least I sleep a lot, and that might be good. And even the dog that I was taking care of today slept on the bed. I'm like, yeah.
That's how I've been coping with shit recently. I'm like, oh god, all I'm doing is sleeping and I'm not doing anything productive. I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, sleep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was told by my therapist that your body must need it if you're going to sleep all the time. No, I'm sleeping all the time because of the drugs. Hey,
It's called depression.
Yep. Well, you're not depressed. You just need to go out and go for a walk. Sure.
You're not depressed, you're making too much.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's not a think. I bought blackout
Honestly,
for my room, and that is fucking awesome.
I've had blackout curtains since I was in high school, and I refuse to change them.
It's awesome. I think it's awesome.
My mother was like, why do you need blackout curtains? I'm like, so I can fucking sleep.
Yeah. That bright burny thing in the sky.
Well, now I'm
star.
Now I'm in a basement, under a deck, and the window is nowhere near my bed, because, like, thankfully my room is the size of a studio apartment. She's like, why do you need the blackout curtains? I'm like, because fuck you, sun.
Yeah, the day star.
I don't want any light escaping into my room.
Yeah, yeah.
Although she was appreciative the night that my brother brought home a new girlfriend and her ex stalked her to our house and then stared into my window. I was like, yeah, see, blackout curtains. That's why I need them.
Wow.
Creepy. Okay, so the second part of this.
Okay.
We've talked about health in general and stuff like that. You know, being able to exist, preferably without any kind of pain or anything like that. The next area is good health. Living a life with, a healthy amount of a healthy body fat percentage, healthy amount of muscles, strong bones, and stuff like that.
So something none of us know anything about?
So basically, general health is kind of a commodity that's traded with or without our consent. The good health, I defined it as nothing short of a luxury. So, for example, you look at, oh God, what was it? When Marvel was casting the Eternals, the guy who played Kingo, when he was hired, they told him, okay, you need to have low body fat, you need to have toned muscles and all this stuff. Basically, he's like, okay, how do I do that? I'm like, don't worry, we got your gym membership, we got your trainers, we got your coaches, we've got a dietitian, we've got cooks, we've got all of this planned out. You'll be slimmed down and ready to shoot in 3 months. And afterwards, he looked at a before and after picture, and he's like, there is no way people can do this shit. He's like, there's no way outside of being, outside of a movie studio paying for you to slim down like that. There's really no way of doing this. It's like, how the
What
fuck
are we talking about?
Okay, we're talking about good health. The luxury of being in good health. Like a healthy body fat percentage, a healthy muscle percentage, healthy strong bones, and stuff like that. And the guy, I was telling about the guy who played Kingo in the MCU Eternals, and how he slimmed down in 3 months because the studio paid for his gym membership, his trainer. Basically, they paid him for 3 months to just focus on getting into shape for the role.
Which has got to be taking a toll on the body's health overall, because an abrupt shift like that, done too quickly, not gradually like you should.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't just a trainer to bulk him up and stuff. It was, no, he had a dietitian, he had a nutritionist. They paid for the whole the whole medical field, basically, all the medical fields to come in and be like, hey, here's how to do this effectively and without too much trauma to your body.
Absolutely.
Hi, gamers. Don't apologize. You don't know anything about this topic anyways.
Drugs and health.
Side note, if we're talking flat improvements to health, I've improved my health in 3 distinct ways, and several of them are not going to be popular.
Okay.
Okay, so first let me preempt this with, I already did not drink or smoke. Which seems very odd now that I say that, and you have a cigarette in your mouth. I get that, but...
And this cup has vodka in it, so...
Okay.
2 for
I was
2.
about to say, when you said half of us don't drink, I'm like, I don't know where you're getting half from, since...
Well, Ras doesn't drink, Gamers doesn't drink.
I was going to say half of the people here, Nightkind does not drink.
Yeah, so, yeah. 3/5 don't drink.
But, so the changes I've made over time. 1, this started out as a kidney and Meniere's disease issue. I started taking raw citric acid, just the powdered stuff, putting it in drinking water, which I still do, sometimes sweetening it, to make it sort of a weird off version of lemonade. Haiku! And sometimes, just... But that seemed to drive my acidity up to the point where I don't tend to get the common cold anymore. RSV a few weeks ago is the closest I've had since 2016. Which is, I think, saying something kind of brutal. 2...
Well, if you take care of your body, and your body starts taking care of you. That's called homeostasis. And your body is going to reach that middle point where your body is now taking care of yourself. You're watching what you put into your face, and your body has now reached that middle point. And, homeostasis is a fantastic place to be. And unfortunately, a lot of people do not realize that what you put into your body reflects on how you live your life. And I did notice this, and Rasclin and I did have this conversation of, I'm in the grocery store and I am not comparing or judging whatsoever. That this lady in front of me had her trolley just filled with potato chips and soda pop and frozen nuggets and whatever. It was all quick, non-healthy food.
And it's cheap.
And then Rask was saying, well, maybe it's because it's easy to freeze, but why are your kids having a soda pop with dinner? And again, I'm not judging anybody, and I'm definitely not like I'm the best, but I'm looking into my trolley and I've got all my vegetables and my Boca stuff, which is still a bunch of chemicals and shit, but water and just really paying attention. So a lot of these people, maybe that's just all that they could afford. Maybe they need to talk about homeostasis, but they're not going to understand. And again, back to that conversation of a lot of people don't know, and do they want to be educated?
Do they want to be educated? But I would also, there is a point there as far as what they can afford.
Yeah.
That is a big thing, because eating healthy in the United States is more expensive.
It is.
Most of my family has had diabetes, and like, okay, they can, they want like a turkey burger or something like that. It's like, okay, well, they want ketchup and mustard on it. It's like, well, okay, ketchup has per tablespoon has 4 grams of sugar added to it. If you want the sugar-free version or the no sugar added version, that's available, but it's like $1 more per bottle, and you get like 10 to 12 ounces less of it. So if you have diabetes and you have to avoid sugar, it is going to just outright cost you, which is insane.
I totally understand that, because I can't afford the sugar-free or the no this, that, or the other. But if you buy the bottle that has sugar in it, it also has salt and oil. So that's filling in everything that your body craves. If you eat sugar, well, now you need the salt and oil. If you eat salt, well, you have to take the sugar with it, so it appeases your tongue. It appeases the teeth, and you need that.
Honestly, the no sugar added ketchup, that just tastes better to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it tastes so much better than than regular ketchup. It's like I've gotten to the point where it's like, yeah, okay. But it's like, even with, okay, so, you look at like fruits and vegetables, people go with canned stuff because it's relatively cheaper. It's cheaper in the long run, because if you buy the raw vegetables or the raw fruits, great, that's healthier for you, but they go bad faster too. So you can't store them.
Yeah.
Like the garlic I currently have rotting in my wok.
If I could put an addendum there, we've said that eating healthy is expensive. Having gone vegan, I have learned not necessarily, but there are some caveats. You can eat healthy and it can be cheap, but it will not be flavorful.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
so,
when you get in, you're craving the salt and the sweet oil.
Yeah, you're craving that flavor. So all of a sudden it's like, all of a sudden you're picking up a bag of chips as well, and it's like, oh, that's, and you're picking up the stuff that's going to have that everything that's going to satisfy your cravings.
But that
I-
stuff does not fill you up. Not
No.
unless you're eating the whole entire bag of chips.
Mhm.
But if you have, I don't know, a salad and you're like, holy shit, this salad, I'm so full. I mean, I've done that. Again, I'm not one to really speak on that, but change your thought process on the food.
Yeah.
And yes, you're going to be healthier. And eventually your body is not going to crave the sweet, the salt, and the oil, which is in damn near everything.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, like I said, yeah, it's in damn near everything, and it's in all the stuff that's cheaper. It's,
Yeah.
you know, oh, well, you know, I'll just pick up a bag of chips. It's only $1.50.
Mhm.
And it's like, and it's, yeah, it's very low fiber, so it's not going to, it's going to take a hell of a lot of them to fill you up. Whereas an apple will, you know, weight-wise, an apple is so much lighter, but with all the fiber that's in it, it's, you know, your body has to work harder to digest it. So your body's like,
Yeah.
no, we're good. We've got enough shit to work on.
I think I need to put one thing. So for a few years now, I've just been starting every day with a massive bowl of oatmeal. It does fill me. It does keep me from eating so much. There's a reason I'm down to about 160 at the age of 46. But, oh gods, I made one horrible mistake. I was loading it up for a while with, of course, some salt, some sugar, some maple syrup, some nutmeg, some cinnamon. I wanted the sweetest, sugariest oatmeal around. And I think a few months, I was even doing this until a few months ago. I've started doing instead the following in my oatmeal: nutritional yeast, paprika, garlic, bit of salt, some ginger, some turmeric.
Well, that's a savory. And
It's very savory.
as
but
a
it's
savory,
very-
you're not going to, you know, want all that sugar. I mean, even if you just put that little bit of syrup in there.
Which is not in there anymore, though. But yeah, I found that the transition, I was jonesing for a little bit for the sugar, but now that I've done that over, I have to admit also that one, I was able to go out and get these spices and the nutritional yeast to put in my stuff. So I can't discount that is in itself is a luxury. But oh my gods, that those combined have definitely filled me with more energy throughout the day than all that sugar was doing.
Yeah, I've started having a bowl of oatmeal for supper just to send
that.
off the cravings towards bedtime. And I don't add any sweetener or anything to it. I do add a little bit of I do add some instant milk and some whey protein powder.
That's something I stopped doing. I was putting almond milk in my oatmeal. Now I'm just using water.
But yeah, it's like it's most of the sweetness for me comes from adding some strawberries and blueberries.
Mhm.
I could see that. I used to try and put in a few of that, some dehydrated ones, and just let the water. Because I did used to do my oatmeal in either a rice cooker or a big pot and just cook it as rice, with about the same recipe.
I can't
And then
do
add
oatmeal
some berries.
anymore. It tastes like paste.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Tastes like paste. And how do I know? Because I used to eat glue in school.
I can't talk. When I was very, very, very young, I ate my dad's cigarettes. So
All right.
very young.
I was gonna say, I would hope so.
When I was a child, I ate milk bones. So,
I mean, that kind of makes sense. You see the dog doing it, so you go, okay, I'm in.
I also
I-
offered it to a woman who I
food
thought was
too, Jaden.
extraordinarily ugly.
I ate dog food too.
I
Right out of the bag. Crunch, crunch.
I was when my parents had a cat when I was about that age too. I would sometimes grab some of my cat's food and eat it. Hi, Fang.
Crabby right now.
There's our star from last week.
Yeah. Aw. Hi, little guy.
You know what? That explains a lot. That
Gas
explains
giant?
so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Gas Giant said that
When they
where
were
is it?
5, they ate some coke.
wow.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that explains a whole lot.
I have more questions about how you got access to that at 5 than anything.
They
Just
do live
do
in
I-
California.
Do I believe a 5-year-old would eat some coke? Yes. I just want to know how it got there.
I mean, I'm also laughing at our Canadian going, apparently in Canada. Aren't you fucking born in Canada?
Yes, but
Nada.
but if they've never been to the hospital, I mean, there are people in this country that have no idea what it's like in a hospital. To spend
Yeah, I
the night
know.
in the hospital. So yeah,
We got that later. When you first said it.
father was irresponsible and left it out. I thought it was sugar. Yeah.
I mean, it's
that-
close.
Okay, considering the stories we used to tell in this town of one day, one of our local pizza execs, whose business has long since all but gone under, just left a giant bowl of cocaine out, and delivery drivers would walk in and see the giant bowl of cocaine. There's a part of me that says, yeah, okay, yeah. Also, did your grandfather own Garcia's Pizza?
Who can afford to leave a giant bowl of cocaine out?
The person who is too coked out to remember. Also, afford is a generous term.
Okay.
Dude. Okay, is it just because I grew up around druggies that I never did any of this shit?
I don't know. I mean, I never did any of this shit, but then again, you know, my parents were really kind of just stay-at-home people. They
I mean, my parents were responsible, but I was around a lot of junkies. So, like, anytime I saw pills or something, it was always in my brain, like, don't touch that.
yeah.
You don't know what the fuck is in that.
I like to think that those cigarettes, I ate those and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever, I'm out. that was it for life for me.
I smoked. It was a family party, and I was smoking menthol longs, and eating the salt out of the ice cream maker. Negative. I got so sick.
See,
I
my
know at
parents.
least one friend will never ask me to help him stop smoking again.
Okay.
Finish yours, then we'll go into that.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What is your story
Oh, no.
about?
It's because he knows that he's an addict, so he's like, hey, I need to quit smoking. I was like, yeah, you've quit smoking like 7 times, and I've helped you around 6. Like, what do we need to do to make it permanent? He's like, you need to make cigarettes disgusting. So what do you want me to do? Find your carton and piss in it?
I mean, that would probably work.
No, it was about the time he left the car, so I just like took every cigarette and like methodically just licked each one. He's like, that's disgusting. I was like, first off, this is not even the weirdest thing you and I have done together. Second off, you said make them disgusting.
Now, see, my parents always trusted me. They didn't trust my brother so much. Of course, he was the older brother, so, you know, like, one time we were going out, you know, my parents always wanted to know who my brother was going to be with, where he was going, when he was going to be back, and stuff like that. And we were leaving one time, going over to a friend's place, and they're like, where are you going? Oh, we're going to go over to this person's house and might go somewhere else from there. They're like, okay, when are you going to be back? I don't know, sometime later. Okay, have fun. We didn't even reach the end of the driveway before my brother stopped, turned around, jabbed his finger in my chest and said, how the fuck did you get away with that? I'm like, I don't get into trouble. I don't do stupid shit. I think what pissed him off the most, though, was when he was in high school. He was a senior in high school. They found a bunch of beer bottles in his room. They found a bottle of Jack Daniels. They emptied everything out. They just had him sitting on every empty shelf around his room. And he walks in, he's just like, oh, shit. I glanced in, saw that, beeline for my room, and didn't come out till supper. They found a bottle of vodka, a bottle of peach schnapps, and 2 bottles of wine in my room. They took them out of my room, put them at the end of the hall, didn't empty them, just set them at the end of the hall, and just left them there. So I was still like going to the kitchen, getting a glass of orange juice with about a shot or 2 out of it and topping it off with vodka or peach schnapps or something, stirring it up and going to my room. I was still drinking it. They knew I was still drinking it.
I
I'm
want
sorry,
to know why
Chad.
you would drink peach schnapps with orange juice.
Chat is making me laugh my ass off.
Peach schnapps with orange juice is a fuzzy navel.
Yeah. I do redheaded sluts, which is just peach schnapps, Jaeger, and cranberry juice.
I used to add half and half to Diet Coke.
See,
That's all I've
you
got.
make that noise, but I make them so smooth, all you taste is peach.
Jägermeister?
Yeah,
Doesn't that taste like licorice?
it's elderberry.
See, that's where I think that's where most people have a problem with it. Is they expect a very specific flavor and it's not what they expect. Like I one of my cousins got me some jelly babies for Christmas one time, and I brought them to a tabletop role playing night. And one of the guys tried one. He's like, "Oh, the grape tastes horrible." I'm like, "Grape? There's no grape in these." He's like, "What is it?" I'm like, "It's black currant." He's like, "Let me try again." He's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I can handle that." It's like, because his brain thought grape and it wasn't, it tasted nothing like grape. He's like, "These are awful." It's like, no, it's not grape. It's
I've
black
had
currant.
black currant once in my life. I don't think I'll ever eat it again.
What's wrong with black currant?
It's too bitter for me. Like, I used to chew on sticks, so if I say this tastes too woody,
The black, yeah, Jägermeister is good. Jägermeister can be good if it's paired with the right right stuff. Like, that's why Jaeger bombs actually taste good, is because you have the sour from the Red Bull, and then you have the Jaeger mixed in, and it creates a nice balance.
so you remember those snake bites that I always talked about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was based off me drinking Jaeger with a Venom energy drink because it tastes like liquid pixie stick.
All right. As the person who has never really been a drinker ever here, and I'm morbidly curious, is there an alcohol someone mixes with, say, Big Red, also known
Yes.
as the bubblegum flavored soda out of Texas, also known as carbonated clown blood?
It's not bubblegum, it's strawberry. It's also fucking disgusting, and you pair it with vodka.
Or apple
that-
schnapps.
Or if you're feeling especially fancy, you pair it with champagne. I've seen people do that too.
Ick.
That's
I
like,
want to know that why would you put alcohol with a Red Bull? Do you want to be drunk or do you want to be wired?
They want to die.
both.
Wired. I think they want to be wired.
Do you know how fun it was in college when I took Tai Chi and we did it in the local bowling alley, but specifically we did it in the nightclub section of the local bowling alley? So every morning I get up in the mindset of, I'm doing Tai Chi, I'm being healthy. There are 6 bottles of chilled Jaeger on the bar that I could just fucking go for. And then, of course, the yoga teacher would come in, and she's blazed off her ass because she's a naturalist.
A naturalist.
Oh no, she admitted it. She's like, I'm a naturalist, which means I am so fucking stoned right now.
I have friends that are like that. You know, super good, healthy food they buy from our expensive grocery, etc. But the husband combusts and the wife eats it. So, you know, and then they do like, I want to say DMT.
Oh gods.
I think that's it. And I'm like, well, why are
DMT
you
is
doing this?
the super concentrated shit, yeah.
Okay. I guess I can understand the pot. I hate it. I don't like it. But, and maybe they can be healthy but it's smoking. The husband smokes it. So, isn't that non-healthy?
I mean, Willie Nelson smoked it for 60 years until he figured out his lungs were gone.
Yeah.
I've seen pizza drivers fucked up on DMT. I'm like, oh shit, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I wish you'd go back to cocaine.
Okay, but something I've discovered is that stoners, like the ones that actually care to learn and be productive, they're some of the most intelligent and amazing chemists you will ever find.
That explains me.
I'll take your word for it. I mean,
So what's the...
me and Ras have a friend that when he was still in town, he was always trying to be healthy. He was trying to eat well. He was exercising and stuff. And then I shit you not, he'd go home, he'd smoke a bunch of weed, he'd drink at least 2 tall boy beers a night, and it's like, what does your health just like turn off at a certain time at night, or what?
Addiction is a powerful thing.
There's grain in beer.
There's yeast.
So he's drinking his bread.
But no, like seriously, you find a dedicated stoner, especially one that works at like a dispensary, like you will learn shit about the human body you never knew. Like the cannabinoid receptors and their exact sensitivity, and the fact that you have to take a break after about 3 or 4 days because eventually you're going to get the tolerance to the THC and the CBD, and you have to actually take a tea break for about 2 weeks.
I'm trying to remember who the friend was, by the way, Olav, you're describing. Without bringing real names onto the past. I mean, I know I don't care if people know my real name, but I don't know how our friend
he was on the channel when we went back. Actually, the precursor to this show.
Oh,
the
okay.
nerd
Yeah,
meme.
I know exactly who. I have his old job. Yes.
That sounded so weird. I have his old job.
No, literally, I am literally his exact position at my company.
Yes.
I'm the one they grabbed to replace him.
At his company and partially here.
And he was also living with me for a while.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when he left the job and the house, suddenly I'm filling the job. And I'm still in the house.
I'm glad there's not a girl involved in this equation.
I mean, he went up to get married, so...
No, yeah, I mean, it would have just been more awkward. It's like, I'm filling his position, filling his house, filling his girl.
Ouch. Damn.
Oh, God, it's gas. Edward Beer Hands. Oh. I hate beer. I hate beer. Every beer I've tried, it's the hops in it just, I cannot stand it.
I know exactly what you're talking. It's too musty.
Mm-hmm. It's too musty. It's got too much of a bitter with nothing to balance it out.
Yeah, it's the hops and the yeast for me. The only beer I was ever able to choke down, like, more than a few sips of was a Red Stripe.
Never tried Red Stripe. I've tried Blue Moon, and it's not bad, but it's like, yeah, I still just...
Yeah, like, I can sort of sip on a Corona, but that tastes like shit. But Red Stripe it's less hoppy. It's more malty, so it's got a more weedy taste to it. So it really is more like bread than anything else.
Huh. I wonder why people drink beer and then have a giant pretzel that they dip into pretend cheese covered in salt. Is that
Because alcohol increases your desire for carbs.
But it already has carbs.
But
Beer's
it doesn't have the right carbs.
Here we go again about addiction.
Okay, so this is actually diabetic science, and this is hilarious because people don't realize this. When alcohol gets processed in your system, the carbs in the alcohol turn into sugar. So what your system is actually wanting when it wants bread is it wants carbohydrates that will bind to the excess sugars so that it draws them out of the system.
Is this
But
why I
white
like
bread is the same thing. Your body turns it into stored fat.
Yes, but if you have sugars, your body is wanting something that's going to connect with those sugars. Providing it more sugar is going to just increase the unevenness.
Yeah.
This is why we like jam on bread and bagels. And why I make fake cheese out of cashews at home, and then I want to dip pretzels in it.
But see, it's also a double-edged sword because then after a while, the carbs that you've eaten from the bread, pasta, what have you, those also turn into sugar, and then your sugar spikes.
That's why I'm at the gym pretty constantly, I think.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's the thing that a lot of people, a lot of the YouTube dietitians don't quite understand. The people that are like, oh no, you got to cut carbs out. You got no carbs whatsoever. It's like, no, it's not. Having carbs is not the problem. It's the fact that you are basically providing your body with a lot of a good source of energy, and you're doing jack shit with it. You're sitting on the couch, not using any of that energy. So the body's like, well, we got to do something. You know what? We might need it we might need it at some point. We don't know, so let's store it.
I'm going to admit to something really stupid right now.
We've all done it.
I mean, about 25 years ago, I was on the Atkins diet, as in I was maxing out at 10 grams worth of carbohydrates a day. So this would be when you saw me at my skinniest at Monday nights, back when Bob was still DJing C Street.
Okay.
And my anorexia was at its worst as well. So, eventually I started ratioing my calories, but my gods, the body will do strange things if you give it nothing but whole tons of protein, almost no carbs, and a bit of fat. You will find out just how quickly that body is going to convert nutrients back and forth.
It always got me with the Atkins diet. It's like, oh yeah, people are still like so gung-ho about the Atkins diet and the general idea of the Atkins diet, and it's like, wait, didn't he die from a massive fucking heart attack?
He died from a massive heart attack while he was in the shower, which caused him to break his neck. So it was like, the carbs definitely caused the heart attack, but the heart attack definitely caused the broken neck. But a lot of the devout latch onto that last bit and say, oh no, his heart was fine. They just claimed he had a heart attack afterwards and he broke his neck.
Well, a lot of people went on the Atkins diet because you can eat meat, which means bacon. And so everybody was just like, oh my God, we can have bacon.
Okay, I'm going to admit, I was basically grabbing a whole slab of turkey bacon at a time, putting Swiss cheese in between the slices, microwaving that, deep frying it, and then slicing the whole thing into slabs. Because on the Atkins, I could get away with that craziness.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Just listening to the nutrition of that food just go down and down and down.
I deep fried it in sunflower oil after I was done.
It's still deep fried, motherfucker, and you already microwaved it.
I am pretty sure that just by describing that, you have jacked our cholesterol up by 20 points. Thank you.
I was going to
And
tell
my
you,
cholesterol was already in the bad range.
so up until about a year and a half ago, I had cholesterol so horrible it was giving me pounding headaches. You are not going to like how I got rid of that cholesterol.
What, massive colonics?
I was just going to say a bunch of bran muffins,
Oh God.
colon blow.
No, that's a triple beef pizza gummies. We called it the colon clogger. No, someone actually ordered that and wanted to know why it was so greasy. But that should be a joke. It's not. I hate that it's not a joke.
That's why they can't do poos for 2 weeks.
I'm not sure they've ever pooped out that orifice, but
What other wait, what?
anyway, unfortunately, it took going vegan for me to actually get my cholesterol down.
That makes sense.
It was just like, it wasn't the first time it was too high either. Also, I was kind of fucked up because I had no vitamin D, which was amazing considering I was getting 3 gallons.
I'm not going vegan. Fuck you.
I was going to say, I was getting 3 gallons of milk a week, but I didn't have enough vitamin D.
I'm on 50,000 units of vitamin D now.
Do you know why I did not have vitamin D no matter how much milk I drank?
You didn't have a
Because
carrier
you're afraid
for
of the sun?
You need a carrier for that vitamin D.
My kind is correct. I had no magnesium in my diet.
I'm sitting here laughing that we haven't mentioned protein yet.
You get protein from all sorts of shit. I mean, your body will convert enough carbs into protein.
Yes, and that's the problem, is that protein is the secondary villain of all this. You have to burn off the protein. If you're not burning off the protein, then all you're doing is just adding more fuel to a pile of fuel that hasn't been burned.
Actually, a protein molecule is larger than a carbohydrate molecule. So if you go into a hypoglycemic shock, eat protein, eat a cheesy, eat protein, and then that way it stays in your system, other than a candy bar or anything like that. Even granola still has the sugar and the salt and the oil in it. So that's why you need to eat protein when you're going into shock. It's going to stay in your system longer.
I'd like to mention to piggyback on that, while the exact per type varies, most carbohydrate types are going to have 4 calories per gram. Protein, also 4. Fats, lipids, or whatever you call them, 9. And that is also a good reason for the size difference there. Side note, there are only 2 carbohydrates I can think of off the top of my head that do not spike your blood sugar. Fiber and glycerol.
Trying to think about that, but I can't right now.
That I can think
Well,
of. I'm sure there are others. Those are it as far as my knowledge goes.
That's true, but there is a slight caveat. When you're talking sugars in particular, you need to one of the things that always irritates me is you need to differentiate between freed sugar or natural sugar.
The refined stuff is going to have a more spiky effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're eating whole fruit, it actually, the sugar is surrounded by fiber, so it's not going to spike your blood sugar as much because your body has to work through that fiber to get to the sugar.
Fiber plus fructose equals middle ground.
Yeah.
Side note, there's also different types of sugar even beyond that, because even if you were to get the fiber out of the way and just look at the base sugars, you're going to have a hell of a different effect from, say, agave nectar as opposed to date sugar.
Well, they're all refined. The
Date sugar is not.
Obviously, the sugar, the dextrose, the sucrose. There's so many different sugars that they do put into something that, okay, what is your body going to break down first? You're going to confuse your body because there's the natural sugar, and then there's this type of fucked up sugar that your body's like, whoa, wait a minute. So, when you look at a nutrition label, dextrose, well, okay, there's dextrose and high fructose corn syrup and all these other things. Well, okay, well, it must be good because there's, one natural sugar in there. And then, people, they don't understand. Back to that conversation, they just don't understand because, okay, you can eat an apple, there's sugar in it, and it's good for you. But then you can eat, a candy bar because there's sugar in it, but there's also peanut butter and peanuts in it, and that's a protein. So I'm doing good. That's balancing out. Bullshit. Fuck you. That is not balancing anything out.
Yeah, it's like the peanuts and the peanut butter already have sugar in it. It's already a pretty well balanced just in itself without the sugar that's added in the nougat and the chocolate and all the sugar that they add into the mix to make it just that bit much sweeter. And it's like, no, it's still weighted way too much in favor of sugar.
Well, that's
I
when
love confusing non-diabetics by using terms like snack unit.
but people, they don't think that there's sugar in peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's peanut butter. It's made of peanuts. Healthy. I don't know. Turn that nutrition label around and you start reading that it's not just peanut butter. So
yeah, it depends on what type you're buying. But yeah, like, oh my God, when I was a kid, we always used to have Skippy. And we tried we tried like the Peter Pan peanut butter one time. And oh my God, that was so fucking sweet. It like, even as a kid, I'm like, oh, this is too sweet. It's like to have a kid say that something is too sweet, you really have to fuck up.
Our local co-op, Olaf, you can actually grind your own peanut butter there, so that's one way to keep it from, being too much of an additive. Of course, it won't last as long.
Yeah.
Not an eternity in your cupboard.
well, that's why you turn the jar upside down, and then all the air really can't get into it.
Right. But, side note, you can also hear a storm nearby. Or at least in my part of town.
Is there?
That's not part of the subject.
No, yes it is. Because the storm has the potential to negatively impact his health.
Ions.
But okay, the pressure difference will negatively impact my health, because that's when the pressure drops before a storm is usually when my brain goes fuzzy. It's like, oh, you wanted to concentrate on something? No.
ATMs are funky. But I was going to say, high fructose corn syrup. And yeah, long-haired hippie gets off on a rant about high fructose corn syrup. No one is surprised. But you need more of it to keep something sweet, which is why so much more gets added to a product that uses it.
Yeah.
And I have some maple syrup that is high fructose corn syrup in my fridge right now. I just add it to things like a cardamom tea or something like that. And once in a while, I'll just say, fuck it. I'm going out and splurging and buying real maple syrup because you need so much less of it to do the job.
Yeah.
We've just made it so much damn more expensive.
Okay. My water's catching up with me, so I'll be right back.
It's a very healthy bladder cycle.
He has to go check and see if the toilet is flushing.
So, side note to that, there's a maple tree over in my neighbor's yard, and I should tap the bloody thing because it's well hanging into mine, but I don't know if it's been sprayed recently, which would contaminate the maple, so... Oh god, I would be making so much syrup on my own.
That was an oddly sexual conversation.
Well, first of all, I would be tapping the tree by... Oh, I can't even finish that thought.
By penetrating it with your long, hard spiel.
I've seen Evil Dead, Gaten. I can't complete this.
Waiting for that warm, oozy, sticky sweet.
Neither, girl.
I hate being sticky. So if I got honey or maple syrup on me or something and touched sticky, no. been washing my hands so much because I get sticky on them. Ugh.
One time I was going through my yard and I was pulling up poison sumac because, oh, surprise, surprise, I'm immune to the stuff. But, oh yeah, that gets on your hands and won't come off too. So I can't shake hands with anyone afterwards for a bit because, well, I've got poison sumac on my hands.
Well, they make a soap for that.
Yeah, I don't usually have it available. I should just buy some.
Yeah, keeps them in the house.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm impressed. We have actually managed to stay relatively on topic for 2 hours now.
That's because you just left right before Rasclin was talking about fucking a tree and getting sticky.
Hey, it still
That's a
counts.
weird outcome waiting to happen.
It is still, relatively on topic for 2 hours. And I figured this was a topic that Nightkind would be able to really chime in on. And
Please explain to me how fucking a tree has to do with your health.
First of all, the glucose will insert itself through.
Relatively on topic. This is an outlier, yes, but we have been relatively on topic for 2 hours.
And thank you for thinking of that. Thank you for thinking of me that I can actually talk about stuff.
And of course, you've got the additional problem, Nikon. You have gluten intolerance, and that adds a whole new level of, oh shit, my selection is now limited.
Oh,
Yeah. Celiac.
And for $7 a loaf, it's even more limited.
As someone who was allergic to cow's milk when I was a child, I get it. I'm probably lactose intolerant now that I've been vegan for so long, but yeah.
Yeah, if you've been vegan for a while, obviously your body, it's going to take longer to process any animal, and you will get sick.
Yeah, I'm not... If I get sick in my stomach severely, I'm going to suspect someone laced my food at this point, but... What are they lacing food with? Milk.
Interesting thing. Most humans, when they reach about 6 or 7 years old, most people actually will become lactose intolerant.
I was kind of the opposite, but go on.
It's basically we're designed to to subsist on milk for the early parts of our life, but then, like I said, around 6 or 7, it's like, our bodies are like, no, we don't need milk anymore. We're not supposed to have milk. So the body's like, yeah, we don't need to know how to process it anymore. We'll just we'll phase that out.
Did you know that humans are the only mammal that drinks milk after it's been weaned?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah.
I was allergic right up until I was 11, and then for about the next 30-something years, life was a milk fest. Mispronounce that as badly as you want to the worst possible effect.
Even without a mispronunciation, that still doesn't sound right.
Visuals.
When I used to get a massive rash when I was a kid and I drank milk, and then eventually just stopped.
I apparently had that too, but as an infant, and as a child, it would cause my immune system to shut down completely.
No, as an infant, I couldn't have milk, couldn't have breast milk, couldn't have formula. I had to have pre-digested enzyme formula.
Oh, I could have human formula. I could have goat's milk. I could have all sorts of things.
There we go.
Cow's milk was off. What?
I was trying to move the window for OBS over so that I could see the chat better, and it kept trying to grab the overlay and move that. I'm like, no, I don't want to move the fucking overlay. God damn it.
But yeah, I was not allergic to cow's milk, to goat's milk. Human milk apparently was fine. I'm adopted, so my parents had to buy the formula. But yeah, it was just cow's milk. Beef didn't set it off. Cow's milk set it off.
Well, I was also born after my mother's system tried to kill me. Yay, jaundice.
I thought you were going to say lupus, but
No, jaundice. All 3 of her kids were born with it.
damn.
So, Caden, when you say pre-digested, does somebody come around and go, "Bleh"?
No, they mix it with enzymes, so it's like already partially digested by the enzymes by the time it gets to us.
You know what? If I didn't give you grief, you think that I don't care.
It's
Evidently, I care because I'm giving you grief. Yeah.
You can always tell how much I care about a person by the amount of shit I give them.
Proportions here.
Okay, now I'm starting to hear the thunder and stuff too.
Yeah, it's getting louder. Now, quick side note from us vegans about the B12 issue, since someone brought up the protein issue. We can get B12 from seaweed or mushrooms as our big sources. Nori seaweed and shiitake mushrooms are the big 2 sources. Oh hey, go Japan. But I probably get most of mine in my nutritional yeasts as a fortified food.
What about your B52?
I dropped it in the toilet, and this can only get worse.
I would have thought you would have gone down to the Love Shack.
It's more like the poop shack at that point, because we are talking digestive health.
Hey, some people are into that.
It's
Don't
a
kink
little
shame.
old place where we can poop together.
Something about a Cleveland what?
Also, someone appears to be lighting off fireworks in the thunderstorm.
No gas, there is no rock lobster, he's vegan.
Yes, but he used to be really big into seafood.
I was pescatarian, and even before then, I remember being in Spain and eating a bowl full of eels. I'm also one of the few people I know who knows how to cook squid and not make it rubbery. That
Yeah,
knowledge,
if anybody wants my portion, speak up now.
they're getting mine too at this point. But
I don't do seafood.
I would buy artificially grown meat at this point, but not for myself. It would be for Ollie.
That's what you're saying, like printed meat?
Yeah,
Printed meat
we've
or
had this
grown meat.
conversation a few times.
Yeah, that actually was something that I was talking about last night on my Cyberpunk playthrough, was the fact that the UK is saying that within 2 years they're projecting that they might be able to lab grow meat and for people to buy and eat.
And at that point, it's not much of a jump to clone organs for people who need them.
Yeah,
And blood for blood banks.
but
Yeah, let me know when they can replace my spine.
Actually, they might try.
When actually I think it was Gamers Gamers was in the chat and talked about stuff, and I don't remember how that one came up. I think it was just the random stuff of the news, but it's like playing Cyberpunk 2077. I thought about the worst possible way that could happen, and it's basically just along that game's timeline where you can lab grow meat with specific DNA, and you patent that DNA, and now how long before, hey, it's the cheapest, so all of a sudden, yeah, you're basically, you are paying one company for all of your meat supply. It's
How
like,
can you take out a patent on a DNA?
if it's unique enough, you can. They do it with soybeans. They already do it with soybeans. Certain DNA strands in soybeans are patented to a specific company, so they're the only ones that can sell seeds to the farmers for that variation of soybeans. It might be more resistant to parasites or diseases because of that DNA change, and it's a unique DNA that that doesn't happen in nature. So yeah, you can patent just about anything.
Well, yeah, farmers are they can't grow like regular corn. They can't grow soybeans, not unless they do carry this specific gene in the corn. But if they're taking a DNA to create this lab grown meat, you're taking a DNA from a sheep, a cow, a turkey, whatever all y'all eat.
Yeah.
Then that's where you can't patent that.
You can't patent it if it's created by nature. You can't. But if you tweak the DNA so that it grows better in a lab and grows leaner, then yes, you could patent it because you've changed nature's DNA. You've changed the DNA to something unique that only exists within your company.
So that's when cloning comes in. Is that you have changed all of this by a clone. Yes?
Yeah. So all of a sudden, yeah, all the CRISPR idea of, hey, well, we're altering your DNA so that your child's DNA so that they're never ever going to be able to have measles. But that process, that changed DNA is patented by our company. So we can charge you whatever the fuck we want for it. And that's the terrifying thing with Cyberpunk 2077. It's like, yeah, they basically the Biotechnica in that tabletop game, it was, they created unique DNA for corn and soybeans and stuff like that, and then they released a virus that killed off everything else. It was the virus wouldn't touch their stuff, but it killed off everything else. So all of a sudden, they're the only ones that can grow soybeans.
Right.
And it's like, you look at the people that are in charge of some of these countries now, it's like, dear gods, they would fucking do it in a heartbeat.
And that's why a lot of people are now gluten intolerant, gluten resistant, is because they have taken the wheat or the corn or the soybean and fucked with it so much with, Roundup or whatever, that now people are allergic to anything that the government wants us to grow because of this changed DNA. Now, I'm pretty sure that if you were to go out and eat all natural wheat, etc., that your body is going to it's going to be easier to convert.
And that actually does, and that is an experience that people have noticed. If they go over to like Italy or something, or some European countries, they can eat the bread there. No problem.
I can't. I mean, I break out in hives.
No, people with celiac disease can go over to Europe, to some European countries, eat the bread there, and they are fine.
I would love to go and try it. Who's going to buy my ticket?
Or import the bread, assuming it gets through. This is tangential to tonight, by the way, but speaking of health, so I have just been notified that how many of us are familiar with the work of Peter David, novelist? Did a whole bunch of Star Trek novels back maybe 30-something years ago. Also did some comic plot lines.
Maybe.
So his insurance has finally run out. And so he's trying to take care of his kidney disease, but he's having some recent small strokes. There is a GoFundMe going for him.
Oh, that's right. I saw something about that earlier, and I wasn't sure what it was about.
Yeah, apparently, it's chalk another one up to insurance in America sucking all the quality out of healthcare.
Yeah.
He is apparently making improvements, but if insurance runs out, I mean, what can you do? They're about 56% of the goal. Goal being, let me check.
I think Caden's asleep.
Not yet.
Not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing snoring.
Close.
Their goal is 100K.
Okay.
For a kidney replacement?
For basic general health, because it doesn't look like it's a replacement, but it's more like treatment is expensive and his insurance is saying bye-bye. Because American.
I'm gonna fight you a little bit on that, because if he has health insurance and if he needs any type of replacement or anything like that, which he should be doing, then all of his insurance could be covering that, plus anybody that wants to help with donation like that. So that's where that comes into play, is that, if he's any kind of, low kidney health, then he should be looking into a kidney replacement. Is this?
I admit I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not seeing replacement anywhere in the field, but I could be wrong.
Or he can get a pig kidney.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah.
You've heard of long pig? Well, now there's short human.
Yeah, people on my kidney donation, Trish's kidney donation page, that's all they want to talk about are pig replacement kidneys. And you can't do that. There's ethical shit that you really have to take in. Well, it's a pig kidney. It's, acts like a human. No. And, what were we talking about? Evidently nothing in my brain.
But since we were talking about health, a famous, very geeky author's health situation did seem relevant. I just thought I'd bring it up.
And basically, it sounds like his health insurance is saying, hey, we've spent enough on you. We're done. We're not renewing your policy. Which takes us back to an earlier tangential conversation. Oh, okay. Well, I think I am getting to the point where I am about ready to crash.
Yeah, I'm definitely at that point.
I was gonna say you're almost asleep already.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this quick. Good night.
Night.
All right, Ras, you want to do your outro?
I'll let Nikon. Did you want to do yours first?
Sure. Seems I got bit by a blood-sucking cow. Turned out it was just the vampire dairy.
Oh.
And
Okay.
and on that note, good night.
Here all night. Tip your dietitian.
Yeah.
And
All right.
And tomorrow night, Over the Edge on Community Radio for Central Illinois, 90.1 FM, WEFT Champaign. Streaming on www.weft.org/listen.
Your mic really does not like that for some reason.
Yeah, I literally do, like, when I have to get close, I think. Hold on. Streaming online, new.weft.org/listen. So
We're just looking the description
radio
below.
voice to NPR voice. I need to take that into consideration and maybe just outright. Hold on. Bring the damn mic right up to my face.
Yeah. All right. Well, don't forget, you can always tell people just go to the description down below because it is there.
I've got you usually telling them that.
True. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do my outro. As always, guys, thanks for being here.
I don't.
As always, thank you guys very much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new here, don't forget to prod that subscribe button. If you want to be kept up to date of when we go live and stuff like that, make sure to ring the bell, but also check out the social media links down below. That's our Facebook page, our Twitter account, our Tumblr account, our Blue Sky account, and the permanent invite for our Discord server, where I try to make sure to notify you guys of when we go live and stuff like that. For example, tomorrow at 2 p.m., I'm going to be live streaming Hogwarts Legacy, and then tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time, we are going to be doing Cyberpunk 2077. And of course, next week on Friday, we're going to be back with more Pirates of the Geek Vortex. All that so that you can stay tuned for more from Olav Productions. Cheerio!